Hey guys, Mapletail here. Welcome back to Warrior Cats based on my current interests. The series where I design warrior cats based on the last video game I played, last movie/show I watched, and last book I've read. Before we get into that, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this. Let's start with the last game I've played. The last game I played was The Last of Us 2, so spoiler warning for that. If you're not familiar, The Last of Us is a series about a post-apocalyptic world infested with zombie-like creatures. I'm a big fan of these games, for their incredible stories and characters, as well as some really enjoyable and suspenseful gameplay. Back when the first game came out, I watched a playthrough of it on YouTube 2 times, once alone and then again with a friend. Then I watched my parents play it, before finally playing it myself, 3 times. So yeah, I was super hyped for part 2, and was absolutely not disappointed. I loved many of the new characters introduced, and loved all the representation, like both protagonists being women, and the inclusion of several LGBT+ characters, including a playable one. And the story, in my opinion, was phenomenal and kept me on the edge of my seat. Alright, let's get into the design. I based the design on my favorite character, Abby. She has blonde hair and brown eyes, so I used that as my starting point. I used a couple of different sandy colors for the pelt, and then decided to add some spots on the darker markings to reference the spores in the game. Then I felt the design was still lacking something, so I added more spots in new colors on her back and face. Alright, let's talk names. Wolfpad, Spotted Dawn, or Pine Fang are what I could come up with. And I'm feeling strong ThunderClan vibes. Probably because a lot of this game takes place in forests, or overgrown cities. Next up is the last show I watched, My Hero Academia. My Hero is an anime about a superhuman society, and the story focuses on a class of high school students training to be superheroes. I don't watch a lot of anime, especially anime that has more than 2 seasons, but I'd heard this show was really good, and wow, I was blown away. It really ticks all my boxes, and I can't believe it took me so long to give it a go. It reminds me a lot of my favorite bits of another anime I love, Assassination Classroom. So yeah, this one was right up my alley. I love, literally all the characters. Okay, except one. And I adore the whole setting and unique way of approaching the superhero genre. A genre I'm usually not a fan of. And it's just incredibly animated. The action scenes are so well done, and it's just overall so stylish. Anyways, the design. So I based this character off of my favorite, Aizawa. I started with his black hair and red eyes. The yellow pupil is based off yellow goggles that he wears. And I used his scarf to inspire the stripes on his neck. And then got a bit wild and added more stripes in a sort of gradient. So for a name, I thought of Night Strike, Silverflight, or Dusksight. And he'd probably be from ShadowClan. Next is the last book I've read. Okay, look. I haven't read any non-Warriors books since my last video on this topic, so we're going with the last fanfic I read. Good Morning Lieutenant by TNKT. This is a fanfiction about one of my favorite games, Detroit Become Human, which is a choice-based game, which I always love, about androids deviating and feeling human emotions and rising up against their creators. Now, usually I wouldn't touch an unfinished, angst-filled fic like this with a 10-foot pole, but I was having a lot of trouble finding a new, well-written fic that not only takes place after my preferred ending to a game with a ridiculous amount of endings, but that also features my favorite ship, RK-1000. And oh boy, did this story have everything I was looking for. The one thing I did not sign up for was just how depressing it is. Incredible, but oh so tragic. But I'm way too invested now to back out, especially after reading the first 75 chapters with well over 500,000 words. I mean, what an achievement for the author. I'm just amazed at that kind of dedication, and I so appreciate it. Anyways, I based my design off my favorite character from this game, Kara, who, when I was drawing, I realized is not only not included in this fic, but is not even mentioned. Oh well. Anyways, Kara wears this beautiful shirt that has a white to black gradient design, so I based her pelt off that, as well as the fact that I always like to dye her hair white in the game. Her eyes are blue, and I tried to give them a robotic sort of look, if that makes sense. The little spots by her eye are supposed to reference the LED light that all androids have on their temple, and then I added some more spots so it wouldn't look quite so out of place. Right, let's talk names. I came up with Blue Flower, Dapple Snow, or Jayheart. And I like to think she'd be a Windclan cat. Probably because she's on the run the whole story. Thanks for watching. I feel like these are a bit less all over the place than in part 1. Let me know in the comments if you guys have your own name suggestions. And I'll see you next Thursday.